What a beautiful Frankenstein.
We're currently at 110 degrees Celsius inside of our boiling flask. And the interesting thing is we're actually seeing a peak indicative of something called full skull. Now, we can actually clear through this full skull peak right now before we get to our main body. And that's actually one of the ways that we'll be able to tell that we're in main body. And the left-hand side shows nothing, which makes sense.
I'd love to do that.
So we're seeing like everything going through that line right now, actually. We're seeing full skull with potentially the CBD indicator, the fats indicator, and chlorophyll. Like once we open this valve, after we clear this out, we're gonna see basically the middle peak go down and everything else stay here, and we're gonna see this just get a lot of the 460. Yeah, you get a nice cannabinoid peak on the left though. We're getting a nice 460 peak, which is what we want to see. And we're seeing basically no 410 on this side. This should be constant until we get to our tails. But once you get to your tails, you're going to see that peak. 460, it's going to start moving toward 500. Just retort to transition to tail. Because look, the peak shifted. Like, I mean, it's not super hard shifting. Because look, here's where our peak is, like 5-10 nanometers to the left, and now we're like 5-10 nanometers to where we were. You know, we're like shifting to tails right now. We're in the middle of the transition. I mean, I bet you if I go, it's these peak intensities rising. So the peak intensity is rising over time with CBD, with the CBD indicator that we use, that just indicates that we're going to tails. And if you look at the fraction finder, what you're going to see here is pre-traditional tails. You're going to see shifted to the right peak, so your cannabinoid indicator is now shifted to the right, which is, you know, your tails indicator mostly. You actually see this very big 530 peak because there is some lipids in this crude. And you actually see a chlorophyll peak because since we're at a higher boiling point, we're actually going to see a lot more chlorophyll coming through our system. When we get the second pass in tomorrow, it's going to look even better.
Second pass distillation of the CBD dominant first pass distillate that we finished yesterday off our CBD dominant crude from our hemp fields. Serious hump in the middle. It's pretty good.
Boop. Now we're just going to get a bunch of bulk crap real quick. Just because it actually has to flow through and start actually thinning out a little bit. We just got like a reservoir that's like dumping over the sensor. There's some CBD signal right there with some head signal. That's what we're seeing. Actually seeing pretty much the same thing that we saw yesterday, which kind of means that we're getting the same heads out that we got yesterday. It's like that 410 peak is on the same level as the 460 as opposed to the overlay, which if you come over in the black, like it was below the 460. So, yo, we dropped in, we're at least now getting more of the heady heads as opposed to like the actual cannabinoids. Look, like that 460 peak is, it's not super high, and then we're not talking about like huge variations, but we're talking about changes of 4 degrees Celsius. We can see your relative concentration changes in like 4 degrees Celsius in line right now.
Peak on the right is going to be our mains peak, and the peak all the way to the left is our heads peak. And this is the current. So we have significantly dropped the concentration of mains and significantly increased the ratio of heads. We're just going to keep working through this heads fraction until we really inevitably see that heads line hopefully go down or at least stay similar intensity while the cannabinoid peak drops, and then we'll start pushing into the last part of heads. Look in the flask right here, we still got a good bit of material. We're probably just going to push it into mains now.
Beep. So we should see an increase in the 460 to 410. Oh yeah, you're seeing the 460 increase to the 410. Just ever so slightly right now. It used to be like they're on the same level, not just ever so slightly higher. Actually, dude, look at that. Look at that. You're getting less 410, more 460 on this side. I mean, that does have significantly less 410. Like, look, you're getting barely any 410 now. Like, it's a little tiny side bump as opposed to being the mass dominant peak. Right here, that's 460. A little bit 410 in there. Smidge. A little shoulder.
That's why I turned the temp up to give us some more push and hopefully push those heads past it. We're pushing.
Yeah, we are pushing. We got like no 410. It's almost exclusively 460 now.
Looks good though. We're making our way through. We have almost a liter in our mains.
Anytime you see that uptick at the end, that means you're done. It means we're transitioning to tails. Like, that's what that is. On the left-hand side, the uptick at the end is always what means that you're going to tails.
We ran this whole damn thing.
Look, our traditional tails peak is coming in. You see how it's like shifting to the right? Like we just have like a big glob of tails that ran through at the very end of this thing that
Then Adam heat gunned, and what you basically saw was this was before we heat gunned through the tails, and you just watched everything just march to the right as we went through basically like degraded cannabinoids to lipids to like straight waxes and some of the heavier colorants.